the amazing, the fabulous, the talented woman that we have joining us right now. Oh, it's like there aren't even words. I
No,
kind of want to
truly, she is so fantastic.
I kind of want to be her when I grow
I
up.
know she has got such moxie.
She really does. We're talking about the amazing Vana Thiero. She's a filmmaker. She's an artist. She's a stand-up comedian. She's a mom. She's an amazing friend, an amazing woman. I'm just proud to be a member of her circle. And so let's get her in here and have her talk about some of these many things that we just listed off about her. And look, she's stunningly gorgeous
I
too.
know. As though that's not enough. She is one of the most
Guys.
amazing looking women on the planet.
Yes.
And talk about fearless aging. This woman has it now.
Yes.
Listen, everything you guys have said about me, I was thinking that about you two
Oh,
Oh,
ladies.
stop.
You light me
No.
up. You are my beacon. Both of
Well,
you are my beacon. And I hear you talk about me, and my heart swells, and I think I have real purpose in life. But you know
oh,
what? You
yeah.
guys are the ones that make me really feel that I have purpose in life because you're so stellar. You guys are mothers, exemplary mothers. I mean, advocates. You are educating the planet. You're letting us know daily that it's okay. And we have a friend in you, and you've gone through all we've gone through. Just to tag on, Bakari
Well, thank you for all that.
had
Let's say that we
ridden a
all belong to
plane.
the mutual. What's that?
Bakari had ridden a plane before. So Carter and I go to travel, just tagging on to the
Yes.
airport stories. He decides when we go to walk down the aisle to get on the plane first that he's not going. So we're holding him and trying to push him down this aisle, and nobody cares. Everybody's racing by us. The staff knows he's autistic. We've been there, we've explained everything. Nobody says, do you need help? Do you need help? Everybody races by, everybody gets on the plane. Finally, they're like, if you can't get him on, you'll have to figure it out. We back up. Somehow we figure it out, get on another plane in tears, ride a shuttle, get to the other airline to go where we're going. And we're afraid because we still have to get him on the plane. So what ended up happening was we looked at each other, Carter and I said, you get his upper body. I grabbed the back of his belt right here. Bam. Grab that sucker. He had his upper body. We raced him in like he was a flying superhero. And as soon as we got him across the threshold into the plane, he stopped fighting.
thank goodness, right? Yeah, we all have our stories. And Data, that segues nicely into our first uh, question for you. This is part of a new segment we're doing called Autism Family Portraits. And you have an autism family. You are the mother of two boys on the spectrum. Tell us about your sons.
Carter and Bakari. Carter's the oldest. He's a speaker. Bakari's the youngest. He's a non-speaker. Carter is the kind of guy that everyone wants their autistic child to be like from the outside. He's a great big brother. He's a great friend. He's a great mentor. He's the person who's on the playground who brings everybody together and creates fun. He's been like that all along. After he went to social skills and was taught, I believe around age 8, how to say, "Hi, my name is Carter. What's yours?" Oh my God. That just set him off, and he started making friends, and he always makes friends. But Kari loves people, loves to interact. He isn't verbal, so he's very comfortable being close with people. But since he jumps and stems, he likes to jump about and around activity. He likes being with people, but his energy is so big. Sometimes, if you don't know him, it can be a little unnerving. But they're both advancing in any way that they can individually. Bakari will be 23 later this month, and Carter is now 25.
Wow. They're growing up
Yeah,
fast, Dana.
yeah,
And
And
they're beautiful.
what handsome young men they are.
Yeah.
they are. And Bakari, the one on the left, he's got a big acne issue right now that's out of control. In 2015, we talked about this quite a bit on Autism Live. He was placed into a group home, which was very beneficial. Over the pandemic, I couldn't get to him enough to monitor what was going on, and the acne blew out of control. Oh, this is a beautiful picture with Tracy Kedar, Ito Kedar's, and Sharon Kedar, Tracy and Sharon Kedar's son, Ito. Tracy is an expert in typing, helping non speakers communicate through pressing words and letters and making sentences, and many non speakers have been able to, through this method created by Soma out of Halo in Austin, Texas, right now, have been able to fight for their own age appropriate education. And it's extremely costly, like $150 to $170 an hour just to learn. And then once the individual learns, the family and the community around that individual has to learn it so that this person can communicate. And they will always need a facilitator of sorts. But it's so beautiful because his good friend, who was in the other picture, it was Justice Killebrew's birthday. And years ago, we saw the documentary A Mother's Courage, where I saw Soma for the first time teaching a young man from Switzerland how to communicate. And she's talking English, and everybody got lit up. And we met them, and then I met Justice and his parents. And I told them about Soma in Austin. They did crowdfunding, they drove across country. We cried because they texted us the entire time, everything he was communicating, and everybody was so thrilled. Well, he came back. He fought for his own age appropriate education. He got it. And when the school didn't comply, the parents had to sneak in and pop in, and they found that the iPad was not on the table. All of the ways of communicating discussed in an IEP were not being carried out. And with that evidence, they were able to homeschool him. And now, in more than half of his subjects, he's 2 grades ahead.
Wow.
And last year, he hosted a symposium for, what is it, through the regional center where you control your own money?
Self-determination.
Self-determination. He had a facilitator on a whiteboard, and he communicated with his keypad that verbalized what he was typing. And he shared with a room full of hundreds of people how he has set his goals for his education, what he wants to do in terms of a career, and the objectives that work up to that goal. He communicated that in a session with his parents. And, like you said, we have to know what their feeling is. And he had a few breaks, and he had his sister, his mom, and his dad there. And we're really excited because we videotaped a little bit of it, and it's going to be a moving experience in the documentary, Believing in Miracles in Spite of Autism, which is now a docu-series. So,
Right. Tell us about this. You are a documentarian and
yes.
you're producing a series of documentaries. One has been completed, Dana.
Yes, well, the first one was done back in 2012 and was nominated for an Africa Movie Academy Award. I just, went on Craigslist, bought a flip camera and a Final Cut Pro edit system, and shot my family and just shared the raw experiences with the world. And, I have a background in journalism, so
It
Right.
was beautiful.
I am
It
an
was
It is
in-news
beautiful.
editor.
Shannon,
So it wasn't
Shannon
like
and
I
I,
was just making a movie and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was blessed that that's how I met Nancy. That's how I met Shannon,
right.
and Ariva Martin and Dr. Bob Sears are in it. It's a wonderful film that most parents really come up to me and say, that's my life on screen. So if I could help more people know that what I'm doing and going through is similar to them, then we give people hope.
Right. It really is a remarkable film. And tell us about the next documentary in the series, Vana.
Well, our children are growing, and hooray for all the work of early intervention. Hooray for all the things that are happening in research that are helping kids function. But there's a fear still in our culture. When kids leave school, they're home, they're stuck at home. We all know so many stories of kids who lose a life in a home, apartment sometimes. And then there's the other fear from parents: what happens when we're gone? So this series will address how to first impact individuals on the spectrum educationally that will prepare them for a life after school. So it's different sensitivities that different parents have done on their own, working with teachers, working with IEP teams, and preparing the transition plan that actually works and getting them in trades. We will feature different job models, work models. Not all are full time. Spectrum individuals have different sensitivity to time, and so these different work models are showing how different autistic characteristics fit in different jobs. And we have extraordinary ventures out of North Carolina. We have uniquely abled here, um, started by Udi Bennett, and who also did Exceptional Minds. And so we'll be able to not only talk about issues, but present solutions. So we're also going to present solutions to education, because we do know that non-speakers and partial speakers are intelligent. Everyone hasn't cracked the code to help them communicate thoroughly. Although there are methods out there that are helping many partial speakers and non-speakers communicate extremely thoroughly. So we want to expose more individuals to that, and particularly neurotypical people, so that they understand that they need to join with us and help get legislation to start educating our children properly from kindergarten. And by exposing everyone to these methods, we've got a huge learning curve in terms of preparing teachers and aides to educate properly in special ed classrooms. Now, that's many years to get there, but we've got to start sooner, because if it's taken my family, a moderately income family, we're not poor, we're doing pretty well. I'm a single mom surviving in Los Angeles. So I'm doing pretty good. But being able to afford $150 to $170 an hour just for one day. But in order for him to be fluent, he needs 5 days a week. He needs another person in the classroom with him to help him navigate that space. So that's the phenomenon of Justice Killebrew and the Killebrew family, because they had a sister his age who cared and learned. The dad cared and learned, and the mom cared and learned. So he had three individuals communicating with him in these methods, and he got very strong. We have, if people out there, if you've never seen the documentary Deej, Deej, go watch that, and then you will know an individual who learned to communicate as a non-speaker, who put himself through college. His family was right there with him. They believed he could learn. He continued to prove them right, and it's an awesome story. Ito and Tracy are developing methods to help more people because, Tracy can only meet with people in a finite amount of time. She's trying to expand this to a way to reach people so they can learn virtually. But legislation has to change education so that we can start getting facilitators trained and in all the classrooms so that the world gets used to watching kids walk around and adults walk around with a keypad that they speak to you on.
Right.
And we
Amen.
can, learn that bit of patience. I'm
And I
really
think
proud of Bakari. He's getting so much better. We just got his
Great.
first keyboard. I made actual letter boards out of cardboard that we've gotten really good at. And being with both my sons now, they gang up on me. That's not fun for parents, but I'm thrilled about it. My son Carter, the oldest brother, holds the yes and no board, and he says, "Do you really want mommy to cut your hair now?" And Bakari goes, "No."
I love it.
I used to just be able to do stuff. But you always want your children to have input. And so we'll watch a movie and we'll pause the movie and talk to Bakari. Did that make you sad? Yes or no? What was it the guy put on his head? And then we'll give him the letterboard and he'll type words and a hat, a yellow hat, and we can get into emotional conversations because we're all there in the moment and everybody wants to know what everyone's thinking. And so we're making baby steps. And through this documentary series, we want to unite the world, neurotypical and autistic. We want to unite everybody so we can all work together.
We do.
Say it again.
We have a clip.
Oh, yes. This is the promo video. We're still raising funding. Thanks to Operation Hope and Sick Group, we were able to get money to start editing the first of the series. And I'm going to edit a couple days a week. It's so much fun, but it's so much work. And okay, let's see the clip.
Well, let's take a look.
This is dedicated to all the people that suffer from autism all over the world.
Autism burst onto the scenes in the 1930s, but began rapidly increasing over the past 20 years. Incidence rates before 1985, 1 in 2,500. 2000, 1 in 150. 2006, 1 in 110. 2008, 1 in 88. 2012, 1 in 68. 2014, 1 in 59 children diagnosed with autism each year in America, and 1 in 37 boys. And as parents of autistic children await the Center for Disease Control's most recent statistics, the bigger concern is, what's going to happen to our children when we, the parents, are gone? And they are adults, 50, 60, 70 years of age. Who's really going to care for them?
I'm doing my best to raise my children so that they can be independent. But I don't know what would happen to them if I'm not around. They could end up in jail. Studies show that thousands of diagnosed and undiagnosed people with autism are behind bars with little to no support.
It is really unfortunate in so many families, and for decades, not long ago, these children were being isolated, kept in the back room, never being introduced to anything or anyone else.
This is really scary. The fear of most parents with children diagnosed with autism is beyond belief. That could be my Bakari. He doesn't have language. What would happen to him?
And studies show that autistic people have an elevated risk of becoming homeless.
I believe government's core principal function is to provide support to its citizenry, or at the state level, its residents, particularly those who can't provide it for themselves.
It's society's responsibility. It's not just the parents. We have to step in and do something.
It's powerful stuff, Vana. Powerful, powerful stuff.
Yeah, so I love to edit, and now I have an editor, Andrea Roma. I met her at my job at Fox Sports. Incidentally, you know I'm an essential worker, correct?
Right.
I did not know that.
When they got rid of sports, you know, men would have slit their throats simultaneously around the world. But I brought back archives, ladies.
I did not know
I
that.
think I saved the world.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and I met Andrea there, and she's a wonderful creative writer and editor, and she's really given me comfort. It's nice to have another mom. Her children are not on the spectrum, but she's got a passion for our plight.
Well, we can't wait to see the series as it develops. Now, we don't want to say goodbye to you before the end of the show, before getting to something that is really fun and exciting, and that is your other passion. And so you don't have enough accolades and passions. You have started a whole new career in life as a stand-up comedian.
Yes, I have. And you guys, I'm a producer. I've written, I have projects that I was efforting getting an agent to get to meetings. And I did comedy in the 90s for 5 years, got married, gave up comedy, and came back after a 21-year hiatus because I realized I have a brand that isn't being marketed. I'm a sexy woman over 60. Hey! And I think I have a lot to offer as a personality, and I have a quirky sense of funny. So I put myself out as a personality, and my career has snowballed. And that's the idea. Let's get people to know about this girl. In comedy, I just go by one letter, V, because my name has been, played with in lots of different phonetic ways. And I'm loving it. You guys, I am usually in Hollywood on Thursday nights at the Sunset Rooftop with Roz Washington, a great mentor, a fireball. And I love comedy. I don't know why, but it took over my life. The other thing that I'm really excited about right now, you guys, is dating.
Do tell.
I flirt all the time. When I was in the trenches with the kids all the time, I saw cute guys or men around me, but I never released myself to know it was okay to look and smile and giggle. And I do that a lot. And people ask me out, and I go to dinner, and I'm meeting some nice guys. It's kind of cool. I understand my girl Nancy is doing a little dating.
Yes, I have been doing a little dating.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah. If you're going to meet somebody in life, you've got to date. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's hard. Everybody wants to make it so hard. Our lives are hard. Anything after that is great.
Exactly.
So getting to meet guys, so what if they don't go the distance? We are women of a certain age who are very secure in being with ourselves. So it's not a big whoop, It's getting to know people. And I'm approaching it in this era as friends. I want to get to know quality men and let them get to know me. And that doesn't happen overnight at our age. We have too much to unfold and we're not expecting anything. We're just having fun.
Right.
So I think that's really
Well,
good.
good for
I
you.
just have to say, I'm sensing a sitcom here. I see V as the central character, the hot, sassy mom who's a stand-up comedian after raising two boys with autism, and she's got her best friend Nancy, who's also dating too.
Yes.
I love it. You know,
Yes.
and I can be the fat friend who comes for coffee. It's totally. Sign me up. I think it's fabulous. I think that
You're gonna give us advice and help us get to the altar.
well, okay. I didn't get to the altar.
You're
The funny thing is that I was the last person to get to the altar. So I'm still married. Let's hope that I stay that way. But like after saying that, my husband will be like, yeah, I'm not so sure. But let's remember that I was single up until right before my 40th birthday. So I was the very last person. So everybody thinks of me as being this old married woman, and marriage is still relatively new for me. Although this year is our 20th anniversary. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
No,
Now,
no
Dana,
small accomplishment.
Dana,
Congratulations.
how can people do you have a social media presence? How should people follow you and find out about where you're performing?
Okay, as an autism advocate, Vana Thiero is my name. VanaThiero on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. As a comic, I go by one letter V. Although there's a K-pop artist in China who is V, and he monopolized all the single V's. So I am three V's. VVV Comedy on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I've been releasing really hilarious video spoofs. I've got a new one coming out. I found all these great dresses at, you're not going to believe this, the 99-cent store. I created a fashion show in my girlfriend's backyard to model all these clothing, and it's a really fun video. It's kind of crazy.
It is fun. I've seen it. It's hilarious. You're hilarious. All of your videos are hilarious. We just adore you. We're about out of time here. So again, look for Vana. Tell us the website of where they can be keeping in touch with the series.
The series is Believing in Miracles in Spite of Autism.com. You could use the acronym BIMISOA.com.
Okay. And so we should stay tuned to that. When do you think that people will be able to watch the first episode? What's the timeline look like?
Well, our timeline for finishing it is April, National Autism Awareness Month, and we'd like to get it to Netflix. And
good.
That's the plan.
All right. Well, from your mouth to Netflix's ear. We just think you're remarkable, Vana. Both Nancy and I know she says this all the time, and I say this too. We both admire you so much. You're a powerhouse.
You are.
And we're grateful to know you, and your boys are amazing human beings that we just love as well. So you're an incredible family.
You're an absolute dynamo, Vana, and we wish you great success with the comedy and also with the documentary series. We're going to be looking for it, and you'll have to come back after you've got the next one completed, and we can show some clips and talk about it.
Excellent. Well, you guys are dynamos. I love your sons, and I look forward to our sons having great careers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So we have to sign off now, but we want to thank everybody for being here. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow. We've got one of our best of episodes of Autism Live. Know that coming in April, on Fridays, we're going to start playing our Stories from the Spectrum, which is all content by and for people who are neurodiverse. But before I go, because this is something that both of you ladies need to know, we have launched today, the press release went out today, that we are having a contest for someone to design the new logo for the Autism Network. it has to include the words the Autism Network, and there are specific guidelines. We are only looking for and taking submissions from neurodivergent artists. We are looking for this to be from someone who identifies with that term. You can be on the spectrum, it can be any one of 1,000 things. It's all on the rules list. We're taking submissions starting tomorrow, only up until February 1st, and then we're going to determine the winner, and the winner gets a $500 honorarium. So I know both of you have sons who are artists. I hope that we will get submissions. The only criteria that we've said is that somewhere on the logo, it has to clearly say the Autism Network. Other than that,
You're
you can
going to
pick
get
any
so
colors.
many submissions.
We
I
hope.
want you to keep them all and plaster them on a big wall because they're all going to be brilliant. You're not going to know how to choose. They're all going to be winners.
I agree. But I hope that your sons will be among the people submitting. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. One of the things that Autism Network is trying to do is put our money where our mouths are. We believe that in being an ally, you have to foster employment. And in order to foster employment, you have to give people things to put on their resume. And you need to pay them for the work that they do. So that's why we're holding this contest, and it's only open to people who identify as being neurodivergent. So send those in. But other than that, we've got to say goodbye. But mwah, to both of you ladies, you know I love you both. We'll be back here tomorrow. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me.
And give yourselves a hug from me.
There we
Bye,
go.
everybody.
Bye-bye for now.